Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a reverse balayage and low light situation just to make this blonde a little bit more blended. I'm starting off with a Redken Color Fusion 6N mixed with 10 volume, and I'm just mixing up about 2 ounces of that color so that I can apply it to my mannequin. First, I'm starting off by applying the color to the roots. I'm outlining each 4 quadrants, and then I'm going in and just applying it to the front and back of each section. You can see here that I'm only applying about 1.5 inches down to the root, just because I don't want to bring that dark color too far down since I'm going to be blending a little bit better. And this is just showing how much product I'm actually using. You don't want to apply too much color because then it's going to be too much and harder to blend out in the end. Now I'm just bringing each of my sections back down and blending it down further, and then taking my tangle brush. This is my best trick, and I just use this brush to blend the color down even further and more like diffuse the color so there's no harsh lines. This is what it should start to look like once you've applied it and then blended with your brush. Next, I'm sectioning everything back into the basic 4 so that I can start my low lighting technique. I like to take V-like sections at a diagonal, and this bottom section, to add extra depth, I'm actually just going to drag that color down a little bit further, but nothing is going to go all the way through the ends. I'm just dragging it down from roots to mids. Again, using my tangle brush to kind of blend that out even further so there's no harsh lines. Next, I'm taking down about 1.5 inch section, and I'm going to weave this whole entire section. When you're low lighting, it's important to focus on taking pretty chunky weaves because whatever is left out, like I show right there, is going to be the highlight, whereas what I'm putting on a foil is going to be the depth. So what you're doing is the opposite of highlighting. You're adding in depth or dark color to make the blonde pieces pop even more. A really good trick here is to take your finger and use it to blend it out even further after you've blended as much as you can with your brush. This just creates the most flawless application. I'm just repeating the exact same thing on the other side. I'm just showing you how thick the section is. It's about 1.5 inches. I like to comb the root down first to kind of blend, and then I go in and create my weave. Again, trying to create kind of a chunky weave because you have to remember whatever is left out is the part that's going to be blonde, and you want the depth to really be the emphasis on this exact color technique. You can see again that I'm blending a lot with my brush and then with my finger. You really want to take time blending all of these sections. That is going to give you the best result. And you can see here I'm even blending with my brush, or I'm sorry, my comb before I even get started with weaving. I always like to move the highlight part kind of out of the way towards the center so I can see it, and then I put the low light weave on the foil so that I can add in the depth. Now I'm just going to continue this all the way up until I get to the crown area, and that is when I'm going to start taking horizontal pattern sections. Okay, now that I'm at the crown, I'm gonna take a horizontal pattern section about 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches in width. And I'm actually on this specific section, just gonna add a little bit more color and blend it down with my fingers, just to add a little pocket of depth in this area on the crown. The rest, I'm just gonna continue the exact same pattern as the other ones, just horizontally. So I'm blending with my comb, taking my weave, putting my color on the foil, and then just continuing my way up. Make sure that you end on a foil. You always want to end your section on a foil. And now the back is complete, and I'm going to move on to the sides. I like to fan back the foil so I can see my side section, and I start off with the diagonal section going with the diagonal line going away from the face. Then I'm pulling that section towards the face and blending the color down, and then using my tangle brush to blend that color down even further and diffuse it. I'm taking about 1.5 inch section, just like I did with the back. I'm blending the root down and then doing a low light section. You can see a piece here that I left out right at the hairline that I'm going to leave out of the foil just so I can keep blonde around the face. Always be mindful of what you're actually weaving out of your foil, because that is going to stay blonde and you want it to be purposeful. So now I'm just continuing this pattern all the way up until I get to the very top of the section, and then I'm going to be repeating it on the other side. You'll notice as I get to the top, I start taking more of a straight section, and that's because I want those highlights to kind of pop on the top of each section. So I kind of started doing it a little bit more horizontal as I went up. I'm gonna repeat the exact same thing on the other side, again, taking 1.5 inch sections, weaving a thick weave, low lighting it, and then continuing it all the way up, making sure I'm blending everything out and taking the time to do that with each section. When you're done, this is what it should look like, everything into diagonal, and I'm just excited because I finished all of my color. I mixed the exact right amount. You can see here that as I'm taking out each foil, it's complete at this time, and you can see how it's perfectly blended. There's no harsh lines at all, and that's because I took the time to blend. That's the key. I'm using this Paul Mitchell toner 7NA, and I'm applying that. I let it sit for about 10 minutes on wet hair. And here are the finished results. I'm super happy with these results. Everything was super blended. There was no spottiness, and I'm super convinced it's because I took the time to blend. Overall, this whole service took me about 1 hour.